my name is Rachel Mayo. Welcome to my channel and thank you for being here. I'm going to be discussing a synastry aspect, Sun square Pluto. This aspect was requested by one of my viewers and I promised that I would make a video about this aspect. So if you would like me to make a video on a certain aspect that you have in mind, I suggest that you leave me a comment in the comment section of this video, or if you're confused about a certain aspect in your synastry, you can also leave me a brief question in the comment section of this video. I answer all viewer questions promptly. Synastry is a special chart that is created between two people, two natal birth charts superimposed on each other so that we can study the relationship between the houses and the planets that are involved. Once we understand how these planets are aspecting each other, with that we can predict how a relationship may work or may not work out depending on what's really going on in the synastry. So synastry is the study of two natal birth charts superimposed on each other to see how they relate, to see what planets are speaking to what planets and the aspects between them. If they're personal planets, I use an orb of about 3 degrees. However, if an outer planet is involved in this aspect, I give up to about 6 degrees. So personal planets, 3 degrees, outer planets, you can go up to 6 degrees. You will feel the energy because the outer planets move slower. In this discussion, we're looking at the synastry of the Sun squaring Pluto. The Sun is the faster moving personal planet, so therefore it is the planet that's making the square aspect to the slower moving planet Pluto. This aspect speaks of obsession, jealousy, possessiveness. If you're enjoying the content of this video, please hit like, share, and subscribe. Also, make sure you share this video on your social media or with your friends and family. You just never know who needs to hear about this aspect. You'll be helping them and you'll be helping my channel grow. And if you'd like to support this channel, you can go ahead and hit the donate button. Any amount that you can donate is highly appreciated. Do not feel pressured. Anything is fine. And if you cannot do that, please hit the subscribe button, leave me a comment and a like. All those things help my channel grow. Thank you so much. Fascination and intensity. Those could be the more negative results of this aspect because it is a square aspect after all. Those type of effects are usually caused by the square aspect because this is an aspect that pushes us into action, taking some type of action. Pluto is an outer planet squaring a personal planet. So Pluto is bringing really heavy karmic and transformative obsessive energy. This obsession and intensity could happen to you even if you're not the obsessive or jealous type, because this is a square aspect and it's going to push you to behave in ways that you've never even imagined yourself behaving, in ways that you could never even imagine. So if you meet somebody and you share this aspect, you're going to right away feel a karmic pull to this person. You're going to be highly attracted to this person. You're going to be intrigued, fascinated by this person. So when you begin a relationship with this aspect present, you're both going to feel very drawn to each other, very sexually attracted, karmically attracted to each other. It's going to feel very deep and intense, perhaps even magnetic. It's going to be a relationship that you cannot avoid getting into because of the high sexual attraction. I've had this aspect before. Trust me, you are going to be enticed into a relationship. In my opinion, this is one of the hottest sexual aspects in synastry. The sex will be amazing, probably the best sex that you've ever had. You're going to be addicted to this person, and when you're away from this person, you're going to feel very insecure. You're going to crave the attention of this person. You're always going to want to be around this person. This aspect can also make you become a stalker. So if you find that you're stalking their Instagram or really actually stalking them, or you want to know everything about them, this aspect will make you become a PI. Some people will hire a PI or become a PI themselves because it drives you to want to know everything that you can about the other person in the relationship. Let's look at what the sun rules in the zodiac. The sun is the brightest luminary. The sun is the other luminary. We call it a planet, but it's really not a planet. Therefore, the sun is very bright and it shines and lights up wherever it touches. So if you are the sun person in this synastry aspect, the Pluto person is going to look at you as a person who they want to stand next to. Pluto is always going to want to be next to the sun person. He's always going to want to feel the warmth and the radiance of the heat from the sun person. And remember, the sun rules the sign of Leo, and Leo always wants to be the center of attention. So essentially, Pluto is going to want some of this shine. He's going to want to be in the limelight with the sun. The sun rules the natural fifth house of the zodiac, and the fifth house is ruled by the sign of Leo. And we all know that Leo has to be the center of attention, and they have this natural talent to draw people towards them. They are ruled by a very bright luminary after all. So Pluto wants to be a part of this shine, and he wants to be a part of this light. He wants to control the sun. Pluto rules the natural 8th house of the zodiac. What is the 8th house of the zodiac? It rules over deep intimacy. This is the house where people, this is the house where we bond with another on a soul intimate level. This is essentially the underworld, and once you're there, Pluto is going to take you deep down and under and capture you. So the 8th house rules over deep intimacy, sex, death and rebirth. It also rules over other people's money. This is the house where we bond. This is the house where we share resources, and the resources could be money, or it could be sexual exchange, deep bonding, soul bonding. This is what Pluto is about. Pluto will take you into the underworld. The other negative aspects of Pluto are jealousy, obsession, possessiveness. So when these two come together in a relationship, the relationship will be tinged with all those other negative aspects of Pluto, because here we are having the square aspect, which is not a harmonious aspect. It is an aspect of action. And what is the action that Pluto wants to take with the sun? He wants to capture the sun. Yes, Pluto wants to capture you and take you into the underworld and make you a sex slave. You can either go willingly, or you can volunteer, or you may perhaps in some situations be forced to go into the underworld. The sun person is mesmerized by Pluto. He finds Pluto intriguing, interesting, fascinating, and the draw to get into a relationship with Pluto is almost unavoidable. It's unbearable. And once the sun gets into a relationship with Pluto, he's going to realize the power that he has over Pluto, because he's going to see that Pluto wants to capture him. And let's all be honest, it's very interesting when you start a relationship and your partner wants to own you, wants to be and your partner wants to own you and is a little possessive over you, and there's some element of obsession. We all find that very intriguing and mesmerizing in the beginning, until it all goes south when it's a bit much, when the person becomes a stalker, or if they won't let anybody else have you once you're done. And this is the danger of this aspect. Once the relationship is over, it can become highly destructive, vengeful. Remember, Pluto does rule over revenge. If the sun person rejects the Pluto person, Pluto will do everything in their power to destroy the sun person. This is like a perfect War of the Roses is a perfect example of this Sun square Pluto aspect. If you haven't watched that movie, please go and watch it. This is not a relationship that you enter into blindly. This is a relationship that could eventually destroy you both if things do not work out. And if you like a relationship with a lot of drama, well, you're going to have a lot of drama in this relationship, because essentially the sun person is going to enjoy pushing the Pluto person, because the sun person knows that the Pluto has issues of possessiveness and jealousy. So who's the more powerful person in this relationship? It is the Pluto person. So Pluto is an outer planet and it rules the sign of Scorpio. Scorpios could be very conniving and vengeful. Once they're hurt, they may not show it right away. They will sit back, plot a revenge, and you won't see them coming. So this is the danger in that if the situation goes bad, when Pluto comes out for you, Pluto is coming for blood, and the Sun person is not even going to see it coming. Essentially, this aspect will transform your life. Pluto transforms whatever it touches. Once you enter into a relationship with this aspect, neither of you is going to be the same. You're both going to be transformed. Hopefully, it's going to be in a positive way. I would not advise anybody who is young and insecure to go into a relationship where there's this aspect, because you are definitely going to get hurt. This is an aspect that requires a maturity from both people. Otherwise, it can be very, very destructive. The signs that fare well with this aspect are people who are already used to Plutonic energy. So if you're a Scorpio, or if you have points and planets, a stellium in the sign of Scorpio, you already understand and are accustomed to this Plutonic energy. So therefore, that means that you can deal with this aspect a lot better. So if you have a sensitive sun, a watery sign, perhaps a Cancer or Piscean sun, this might be a bit too much for you. So enter with caution. You're going to fear that something is going to happen. Perhaps you start fearing that he's looking at somebody else, or he's thinking that you are with somebody else. So this partnership so your partner is always going to want to be around you, and perhaps even control some of your actions. So Pluto can have a controlling effect on the Sun person. Pluto always functions in a relationship in a very profound, deep, and transformational level. You are going to feel this intensity. You're going to be drawn to it. And without the Pluto person around you, or the Sun person around the Pluto person, everybody's going to feel, you're both going to feel a sense of insecurity when you're not around each other. So therefore, this aspect tends to draw you to your partner and keep you around your partner. Since this is a square aspect, the negative effects could be brought about. You could go through intense arguing and intense breakups, but the makeup on the other end, the sexual makeup, could be even more incredible. So for the people that like drama in their relationship, they will tend to start a fight with the Pluto person. They will tend to push the Pluto person's buttons and get him to react, so that they can see him, so that they can instigate a fight, just in order to be able to make up and have that hot makeup sex. So essentially, if these two break up, there is no way that they can stay friends after this relationship. They'll be both very profoundly they'll be both profoundly transformed, either in a negative way or in a positive way, and the sexual interaction between the two will make it impossible for them to just be able to just stay as friends. Of course, that's if they don't destroy each other by the end of the relationship. So all in all, Sun square Pluto aspect is a roller coaster type of aspect. Things are never going to stay on even keel. Things are never going to feel like they're on an even keel. And if they start to feel so stable and stagnant, one of you is going to unnecessarily cause some drama to happen, so that you can have that heated exchange. This is the energy of the relationship, and this is what keeps you two together and keeps you going. There is nothing superficial about this aspect and this union. So in summary, this is a very deep, karmic, soulmate type of aspect. You'll be drawn to this person. You'll be magnetically drawn to this person, and once a relationship is initiated, you actually get to the point of having sex. It's going to be very hot and intoxicating. Probably one of the best sexual experiences that you'll ever have is with the Sun square Pluto aspect. Sun is the light and Pluto is the darkness. So the two of them are drawn to each other. And when the Pluto person starts to see too much independence from the Sun person, the Pluto person becomes obsessive and jealous, and wants to control the Sun person, because the Pluto person does not want to lose the light of the Sun. And however, the Sun is also drawn to the darkness. So these two can essentially become inseparable. Because they are opposing energies, one darkness and one representing the light and one representing the darkness. And Pluto wants to capture the Sun and have the Sun to himself. So I prefer this aspect when the Sun person is the female and the Pluto person is the male. In my personal experience, I was the Sun person. It was so interesting and mesmerizing, and found it so attractive to watch the Pluto person want to possess me and literally own me. Like in this aspect, this is an aspect where you find, if you're in a public place, the Pluto person will actually follow you wherever you go, just to make sure that you don't speak to anybody else. And if somebody else tries to speak with you, especially if somebody of the opposite sex, the Pluto person will just come and interject and want to know what's going on. So essentially, the Sun is not allowed to go and shine anywhere else without the presence of the Pluto person. Yes, this is a very stalker type of energy. So in the beginning, this is exciting. It's almost cute. But when it gets too much and the Sun starts to pull away, when the Pluto person notices that the Sun person is no longer interested or wants to take her shine somewhere else, the Pluto person now starts to then the Pluto person starts to show the signs of possessiveness and jealousy. So essentially, you're not going to see the possessiveness and the jealousy right at the beginning of the relationship, because Pluto is going to play coy. Pluto is not going to show you. Pluto is a slower moving planet. So with a slower moving planet, you feel the presence of the energy. It doesn't really show itself until it's activated. So when the Sun person starts to separate herself from the Pluto person, then you start to see the controlling side of the Pluto person. So then you start to see the controlling, obsessive and possessive nature of the Pluto person. So in this relationship, be prepared to be followed wherever you go. Be prepared for somebody stalking your Instagram, or stalking you in reality, or a person always trying to find out where you are, what you're doing, and who you're doing it with. If you're the type of person that is uncomfortable with that scorpionic, possessive type of energy, do not enter into a Sun square Pluto relationship. You can't say I didn't warn you. This is not for the faint-hearted. This is people who are ready to go deep and go into the underworld, Pluto's domain. So why do I think the Pluto square Sun synastry aspect is a soulmate and deeply bonding aspect? Pluto is a generational planet. It's a slow-moving planet. So it keeps karma and records karma over generations. And when it comes and meets up with the Sun represents our core identity. The Sun is a faster moving planet and Pluto is a slower moving planet, a generational planet. So when these two meet, there is definitely some destiny, some fated karma. There is definitely some fated karma going on here. It's the past meets the present, the light meets the dark, and they complement each other. They need each other. This aspect is found in karmic relationships